right, let's try this again. Charlie and podcast.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me this time?
Fuck, it's doing the same thing again.
One second, I'll try.
I don't know what it is.
Can you, is it now? How about now?
Your sound is clear. Okay,
Yeah.
and now there's no echo. There you go.
Great, it must have been for me, my bad.
This is the weird thing with Instagram, and I've noticed this sometimes if the guests come on with like no headphones whatsoever, depending on what device they have, the sound will transmit, and then the Instagram will cut the audio off, and like it's messy. It's messy. I should be on Zoom like every other podcast, but I can't work with that shit. I work, I work with what I got, and this is it. Yes, very professional. You know, we roll with the punches here. That's how we do it.
Yeah, of course.
So that's literally like one thing that I set out whenever I started the podcast. It's like not worry about the technical aspect of it and just focus on getting guests on, having conversations, and just let the rest, sort itself out over time. And I was lucky enough to get,
because at the end of the day, it's going to be the same result, the same interviews, just like everyone else.
Well, I guess interviews like yours are more like better quality. Sound is better, and then
it's all done the same way. It's all done the same way.
All that stuff, but I took a page out of the Joe Rogan podcast. Just free flowing conversation.
I mean, who didn't, man? Who didn't at this point?
True. That's true. That's true. But yeah, like I don't like write down questions that I have to ask. None of that stuff. I just whatever comes to my mind, depending on your answer.
I try my best to do that, but I just realized as you do it longer, that I write down my questions, it just helps me more. So I just do that more.
Each person is different, So I at least found what works for me, and that's what I'm happy about over a year. So let's go. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the UFC 271.
Oh, of course.
First question I got for you: are you on verdict?
I am on verdict.
Okay.
I'm a little inactive on verdict, but I gotta get back on it. I'm a purple belt at the moment, so.
I'm a purple belt as well.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie there.
Double stripe.
Purple belt, 3 stripes.
I'm 2 stripes. So.
Do you know your username so people can add you?
Not off the top of my head, but I'll link it right in after, of course.
Yeah, share that with us later. I'm the same as my Twitter, Prospect MMA Pod 1. I just look with my Twitter. Same thing, So let's go through the cards. Do you want to start from the top or the bottom?
It's completely your decision.
Right. Okay. Let's start with the bottom. We have Andre Arlaski versus Jared Van Dara. I like Andre. Like I've been watching him for years and years and years now.
Yes. The former champ of the Bulgaria's finest heavyweight division. Took out many fighters, Tim Sylvia, and to this day he's still going against the top competition. So.
Yeah, savages.
He has loads of experience behind him. But then again, you have Jared Veda, which an upcomer, which at this point, the heavyweights do seem to always amaze me because when they're young, they're fast. Most of them move like middleweights at this point. So I'm looking forward to it. If I was to give my honest opinion, I would have to give it to Jared Veda, just given that, unfortunately, I do think that Arlaski's time is not going to be the same.
Right.
He's not going to be the same in my opinion, but it's the fight game, so you'd never know at this point.
Well, I like to gamble, so I'll go with Andre Arlaski.
Yeah, of course. I really wouldn't be surprised if he got to win.
Knockout in the second round. I'm locking that in right now, so That's
Great.
my prediction there. There you go. Next one, we have Bobby Green. I think Bobby Green is like a
Bobby
really
Green,
good
of
fighter.
course.
Really good fighter. I really like this guy.
He's coming off a
And
war against. He's coming off an epic war against Rafael Fiziev, which got fought at a night back in December, UFC 269.
he lost, right?
Yeah,
He lost
yeah.
that fight.
It got fight
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
night. It was an amazing fight. He gave a war.
yeah.
But
That Rafael, he's like really, really good guy.
an amazing
Like
striker.
really good prospect. Yeah, coming up.
Yeah.
So yeah,
His fight
that
actually
guy.
got moved to the March event. He was supposed to be fighting Rafael dos Anjos next week, but
Yeah, I
got moved
saw
to
that.
March, which is unfortunate. So that should be a fun
No
fight.
idea what happened there or why
Oh, it
they're
was
moving.
Fiziev's visa. His visa got in some trouble, so it's going to be moved to March. Yeah,
Some fighters in the UFC still getting visa issues at this stage.
I know
It seems a
it
bit
happens.
stupid, right?
Man.
Like everybody knows who you are. Like, okay,
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah. Who do you got on this fight? So he's fighting Nasrat Haqparast, if I'm
Oh,
pronouncing that
Nasrat
right.
Haqparast.
Yeah.
You know what? Nasrat Haqparast, I saw him back last year.
He fought against Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker, that's right, yes. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here and give the underdog the chance. I'm going to go with Nasrat. I think he put himself on the scene. He gave a fight against Dan Hooker. Not enough to be such an experienced fighter, but I don't know. It's experience versus the new prospect. I'm going to give it to Nasrat. How about yourself?
I have Bobby Green by decision.
Oh, it's 1-on.
So
yeah, great. Oh,
it's
by
already
decision.
there.
Smart, very smart.
I'm not lying. I'm showing you, what I got. Then we have Kyler Phillips against Marcelo Rojo. I think
Bantamweight
I'm
division.
pronouncing that right. Yeah. I haven't seen much of these two fighters.
Yes.
And I haven't seen, just because I haven't actually seen their fights. Not that they haven't been fighting or anything like that. I just haven't kept up to date with their fights. So I'll rely on you on this one. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with Kyler Phillips. You know, he's had some ups and downs. He was in the works to fight Sean O'Malley, but against everybody wanted to fight with O'Malley at that point. And he's coming off a loss against, if it was 2 fights ago off the top of my head, he fought Song Yadong, which as his opponent, a new upcomer from what I've seen and heard. But I'm gonna be safer. I'll go with a Kyler Phillips decision win.
Okay, it's there. Decision win. I'll take your advice. There you go. And then a great fight. Like this fight, I'm really looking forward to it. And this one is because I can't really tell who's gonna win this one. Jared Cannonier against Derek Bronson. This is one of them fights where we can sit here all we want and talk about each other's fighter.
Yeah,
and
I cannot wait for that.
And like,
It's the number one
but
contender
who's gonna
fight.
win? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you make of this one?
Look, what can you say? You know, Bronson coming off a 5-fight win streak. You know, Blonde Bronson has been undefeated.
Blonde Bronson, yeah. Super Saiyan Bronson.
Super Saiyan, exactly.
Yeah.
But,
for the Dragon Ball fans, you know what I'm talking about. For those who don't. Like,
of
be
course.
ashamed of yourself. But Jared has the power of the crystals on his side.
Of course, yes, the killer gorilla himself.
Like he plays with crystals and stuff, and he's like into crystals and all that. So we have the Super Saiyan versus crystals. Obviously, Super Saiyan would smash crystals any day of the week in any universe whatsoever. So just because of that, I'll go with Derek Brunson.
All right, yeah. See, I was actually thinking about this the whole day, man. I was thinking about who because it's wrestling versus grappling. I was really surprised with the performance that Derek Brunson gave against Darren Till. He made him look like light work. He didn't look like the right Darren Till that I saw, who was fighting for the belt. But although he did go up to middleweight, and he also did fight someone who was in the main event. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. And then Jared Cannonier coming off a loss from Robert Whittaker, but also came back with that win against Kelvin Gastelum. So, I don't know. It's striker versus grappler. I'm going to go safer because I see Derek Brunson out-grappling him to a decision, but if he gets caught, I think Jared knocks him out. But I think that the experience kicks in just to be safe enough. I'm gonna go with Bronson.
And like Derek has been knocked out a few times by Israel and by Robert Whittaker.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it is quite possible that happens. However, I have it Derek by decision. Having said that, it's Derek by decision.
Yes.
So let's go with that. And then the card keeps getting better, right? So then we have Derek Lewis against Tai Tuivasa.
The hard hitters, man, the hard hitters.
These two guys are like two of my favorite fighters in the whole UFC, just because of the type of people that they are. They're like such funny dudes outside the ring. So I really like these two guys. So it's a
shame one of them has to lose.
Yeah, for sure. Like Derek is like right here up, and then Tai is like trying to climb that mountain. And it's amazing that Derek is giving him the chance so quickly after dispatching the other dude over to the hospital after that KO.
Oh man, like you're out. Yeah. Yes,
exactly. You're out of the prospect list. Get out. Bring me the next guy. Pretty much. That's how Derek is rolling. So based on that, I have Derek first round knockout against Tai.
Wow.
But I can still see Tai doing the same thing to Derek, so it's quite possible. Like, so what do you think?
All right, Tai Tuivasa, very underrated striker. You know, very underrated fighter. People forget because he is so famous for doing those shoeies, man.
Shoeies.
I love what he does. Yeah. A very underrated. He first broke out actually seeing him as some type of competition when I think back in October. It was Khabib's retirement back in UFC 254. He knocked out Stefan Struve. And then it just got better and better. He knocked out Greg Hardy, then went on to Augusto Sakai. And now he's actually fighting a top 5 fighter, which he actually deserves, in my opinion, finally. But everyone's saying, like, they can be as technical as they want, but fighters like Derek Bronson, you have to... There's no winning. If you get caught, you get caught, you know? So I'm gonna go on the safe side. I will not be surprised on the safe side. I'm gonna go with Derek Lewis. But if we see a very kickboxing and striking fest, if we saw from what Cyril Gane did to him, and Tai Tuivasa should take some notes. But I'm gonna go with Derek Lewis knocks him out in 2 rounds.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Well, I have it first round because I trust the Black Beast. His power, so yeah, we'll go with that. And then main event of the main events. This is like the main event that I've been waiting for because I love to see Israel every single time that he steps into that octagon. It's poetry in motion for me. It's just amazing to see the whole thing. Like even the pre-fight conference, the way he speaks and everything else, like. Which, by the way, I've noticed Dana White didn't do the chewy. If anybody saw the pre-fight conference, the motherfucker was able to evade the chewy. Yeah, like okay, not cool, man. Dana, you have to do one definitely on the post-fight conference. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this fight. We have Israel who knocked out Robert Whittaker in the 2nd round. Matrix style while evading a shot, like clips him over, like amazing, like beautiful to see.
That was amazing.
And then since he pretty much rapes Paulo Costa,
pretty much.
Yeah, you had the Yoel Romero standstill, pretty much 5-round fight. You had the fight with the Italian dude. What's his name?
Marvin.
Yes, Marvin, which he was never really in danger in in that fight, really.
I believe he won 50-45. He won every round. So
Yeah. And then on the other side, you have Robert, who had a fight with Darren Till, not Bronson, sorry, Jared Cannonier, which broke his arm on that fight. He broke Jared's arm in that fight,
I'll tell you, it was with that combo that he loves doing. It's the 1-2 into like a duck and roundhouse.
Yeah, and then
he broke his arm with it.
Wow. Yeah, 100%. Which is textbook MMA, right? Like
Yes, of course.
that's literally the first combo that I remember learning in my MMA class.
Of course.
1, 2, and roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing on the UFC games. If you ever played the UFC
Yes,
game on the
yes.
Xbox, it's like straight, and then roundhouse kick.
Yes,
So like
exactly.
that's textbook beginner stuff right there. But yeah, he does it so beautifully. Yeah, it's amazing to watch.
He pulls it off every
So
time.
yeah, so having said that, right, a guy like that, he knows he lost. He's obviously going to make adjustments. We have seen evolution from him. It's kind of hard on the fans, which is why the fans are going to buy the pay-per-view to watch the UFC to find out who's going to take this one. As intriguing as I think this fight is, I don't just see a scenario where Israel is going to lose this. I really don't.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
Okay, Robert Whittaker, he's been saying ever since he lost and he won that fight against Darren Till, and then on to Jared Cannonier, on to Kelvin Gastelum, so he said adjustments are going to be made. He said it himself back in the last night in the pre-fight press conference. And Jan Blachowicz did open up some holes, showing that Israel is vulnerable in some scenes, of course. And I don't know, because Robert Whittaker is an amazing fighter, and if Israel was not in UFC or any type of organization, Robert Whittaker is the champion. Miles ahead of the other middleweights, I think, those two. So, but I just like you said, I don't see this scenario. I don't see it being as domination where he walked into Israel's traps. Israel did improve, showing from the Jan Blachowicz fight that he can defend the takedowns. He showed it against Vittori in the rematch that it's not as hard. Oh, there you go. That was my prediction right there. Israel, I see him defending.
I see where this conversation is going. Yeah.
Yeah. Smart fighting, and I think he gets the win by a unanimous decision, winning around 3 or 4 rounds, if you ask me.
Yeah, quite possible. Yeah. I think yeah, it will go to decision. Israel is going to take it. Kind of like, like the fight with Marvin Vittori was the same story, right? The guy that nearly got the win.
Yeah.
And what adjustments happened and this and that.
Yeah.
And then if one fighter can improve, so can the other. So like, don't expect this guy to stay here and then the other guy to rise above. Like, that's not how it works. This guy keeps going up, the other guy tries to catch up, and that's the way it goes. So whatever Robert Whittaker, like whatever 3D chess these guys are playing, his coach, which is like a top coach from the City Kickboxing Academy.
Oh yes, Eugene Redman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He can play that game too. So like that guy is also like, okay, you're going to do this to counter that, and we are going to do this to counter your counter. So like, fuck you.
You know what? I think just like some fighters, I say it a lot about like John Jones. He's the first fighter that comes to my head. And to be honest, I see the same thing with Israel. If you're gonna beat Israel Adesanya, you got to do it in the first fight. Because in the rematch, game plans come in.
It gets worse.
Come in. Yeah. So
it just gets worse. Yeah.
Of course.
100%. Let me just check here. So that's by decision, right? Let's just cover the Premier Fighting Championship just again. So just to wrap this up, we have Israel. We both agree on that, right? UFC 271. We'll find out the answers tomorrow night. I will be at the Chaos Grappling Championship all day, pretty much. Meeting Gunnar Nelson, hopefully.
Oh, and, wow. Wait, Gunnar Nelson? Oh, yes, he's a teammate at SPG.
No, he's coming in to coach one of his guys from Iceland who's competing for the belt.
Wow.
So he's coming in to... Yeah. He's going to be there. And Cal Pacino from Bellator as well. He's going to be there competing.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So let me just give a shout out to those guys first. Chaos Grappling Championship. Anybody wants the pay-per-view ticket, go get it. I would advise you to get it as well, just so that you can get familiar with the Irish local scene. I don't know if you watch much, if you
Oh no, yes I do.
follow.
Yeah.
You do, yeah. Clan Wars, Cage Legacy, all, yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Like the IUR Fighting Championship is free for anybody to watch on YouTube. So like anyone that wants to catch up on good MMA, the level of these amateurs is like through the roof. I honestly did not expect that from an amateur level, which is why I'm so intrigued about being involved with the local scene. Like this was not the direction that the podcast was going to go at the beginning, but he ended up going that way because I was like, holy shit, these guys are on another level. It's amazing. So yeah, I even get more excited sometimes watching these amateur fights where these fighters, they literally throw caution to the wind and they just go for it. And it's like,
thing is with those amateur fighters, you know, they want it so bad to make it to the top that they give their all every fight, which you love to see.
100%. So excited to see obviously another promotion popping in on the scene. So I'm just going to get their page here so people can see. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, you can check this on YouTube, Prospect MMA Podcast. I'll update this on there. So it's Premier. Oh shit! It's not focusing. There, yeah, Premier FC MMA. There you go. You guys can check that out.
Premier Fighting Championship.
Yeah, Premier Fighting Championship, but their handle is Premier FC MMA on Instagram. So they're holding an event on the Clonmel Hotel, Park Hotel, on the 26th of February. The first portion of the event is going to be the Wimp to Warrior finals. So these are people that have been training for 20 weeks straight, MMA with no background, and they are all going to have to fight each other at the end of that. So that's going to happen. You're going to be there reporting and having cage side and doing backstage interviews for the Prospect MMA podcast. So I thank you for that, for wrapping I should change the name to Prospect MMA Media because, again, it's going like in a different direction than just a podcast. Not just a podcast anymore, really.
That is the best way to have it, though.
Just media, right? Media in general. But yeah, like it's a really cool thing to do and to have access. As an MMA fan, like I get super excited.
Everyone's fans, you know, all those journalists, media guys for any network for MMA, they're all fans at the end of the day, which you love about it, you know. You wouldn't be a fan if you weren't doing that job.
100%. That's why, like, I would never want to, you know, hire somebody just because they have the degree in journalism or some shit like that. Like, fuck all that shit. Are you a fan of MMA? Yes. Okay, cool. Done. Can we talk MMA? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's go. But yeah, like at the end of the day, anybody that follows, documents the sport, they have to be a fan. Like, there's no other way about it. In my opinion, that is, you know. I hope you're. It would have to be. I hope you're excited. You haven't done anything like this before, right?
On the media side, no, this is my first media event, but with the interviews, I do have experience with that, so I'm and
have you attended live events like Bellator or anything like that?
Yes. No, of course I've been at events. I've been at live events.
Perfect. Okay, so you know what the live crowds are like.
Of course.
The noise, the energy.
It was amazing.
yeah, good stuff, man. So if people want to follow you, your tag is combat_talk_podcast.
Of course.
Anything else you want to plug in there?
New breakdowns and new interviews coming very soon. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Emmanuel.
Yeah. We'll do this again. Every like UFC going forward, something like that.
Great.
We'll start doing this. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Charlie, for coming on once again. Everybody, have a good night.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.